If you're starting the new year already feeling behind or overwhelmed, this episode is for you. So many women step into January with good intentions, but one small moment, whether it be an email, a comment from someone, a feeling, that can send us straight into a negativity spiral. And suddenly, the whole day feels heavy and you're thinking, oh my, the year ahead is going to be like this. In this week's episode, I'm sharing the simple 3-step Choose Happy tool that helps you catch the negative thinking before it takes over your mood, your confidence, or your year. If you want a calmer, kinder start to 2026, you're in the right place. Come on in. It's time to choose happy. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, you have a choice. Are you ready to break free from self-doubt and negative self-talk? I'm Marie, mindset mentor, life coach, and author of the Choose Happy Affirmations. Here, you'll find mindset shifts, affirmations, and simple tools to create a life that feels as good in the inside as it looks on the outside. Welcome to Choose Happy with Marie. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to the Choose Happy with Marie podcast. I am so glad that you're here with me today. And if you're listening during the week or the month that this episode goes live, Happy New Year. Wishing you and your family a year that is filled with love, laughter, and many Choose Happy moments. Today, I want to talk about something that so many of us experience in January, and honestly, not enough people talk about it openly. It's that feeling of starting the year already spiraling. You wake up with all this hope and intention, and then, bam, something small happens, and suddenly the noise in your mind gets loud. You start hearing words such as, "Oh, I'm already behind. Why am I not motivated enough? Everyone else seems to be starting strong. Why can't I?" Well, if that's you, I invite you to stay with me. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop the negative thinking spiral before it hijacks your mood, your motivation, and your year. January brings so much pressure. New year, new you, new year resolutions, start fresh, go big. Anything else? But what most of us are actually carrying into January is a lot of emotional residue from last year. Maybe there's some disappointment. Maybe you're still carrying that self-doubt. Maybe you're still comparing yourself. And maybe you're carrying fear that the same patterns will repeat again. And when that combines with the pressure to have to start the year perfectly, your brain can run away with you fast. But here's the good news, because I'm all about good news, right? You don't need a new you. You don't need perfect motivation. You just need to learn how to catch a negative thought before it becomes a spiral. And that's what we're doing today. Let me tell you a quick story from a past January that I bet you'll recognize in yourself as well. I remember it was the first Monday of the new year. I remember having my coffee. My planner was opened. I had this fresh candle. I love candles, and so the new year needs to have a fresh candle. I had all the new year energy. And then I opened my email. There was one message in there, nothing too dramatic, but I think it was just the timing of the email. It was a question from someone that made me feel that I was behind. Within seconds, my mind went straight into, see, You're already dropping the ball. You should be more organized. Why is this happening again? And before I even knew it, my energy dropped, I felt heavy, and the rest of the morning looked nothing like the hopeful version I'd imagined. Does that maybe sound familiar, but just in a different way for you? What changed the day wasn't the email, although that was the trigger. It was the spiral. And that was the moment that I realized, if I don't catch my thoughts early, they will run the show. And that's when I started developing the exact tools that I'm sharing with you today. And so, what is a thought spiral? So I'm just going to break it down in a simpler way, because spirals can be sneaky and we need to kind of understand how they work. So a thought spiral has 4 steps. The first one is the trigger. It's something that happens, whether it's a comment someone says, an email you read, a memory, or it can even be an expectation that you have of someone else that doesn't follow through. So that's the trigger. The second step is the thought. And often when you go into a spiral, it is usually something that is automatic and familiar. You've heard it before. The third step that the spiral goes through is the story. This is your brain trying to make sense of the thought and then starts turning it into a narrative. And the fourth step is the spiral. It's when we're feeling overwhelmed, behind, we don't feel like we're enough, or we feel discouraged. The key is this. You don't have to stop the spiral at step 4. You actually can stop it at step 1 or 2 before it picks up momentum. This is where your Choose Happy power is. I'm introducing you to something that I call the Choose Happy Interrupt. It's a 3-step stop the spiral tool that I teach my coaching clients. Here's how you stop a spiral before it swallows your day. 3 steps. Step 1. First, you have to notice the first negative thought. When you see it, hear it, you ask yourself gently, what thought did I just believe without question? Because spirals only take hold when you believe the thought is actually true. You need to question, is this factual, or is this just something that I've been saying to myself in the past? So that's step 1, notice the thought. Step 2, it's time to interrupt it. This is where you use a compassionate pattern breaker. This is where you say to yourself, that's an old thought. That's not today's reality. It's not about denying your feelings. It's simply interrupting the old story long enough to give you control back. And then step 3, choose the next best thought. The best thought is just the next best thought. It's not a perfect thought. It's just the next best one. You could say something like, I don't need to have everything figured out today, because you don't. You could say something like, I can take one small step. You don't have to see the whole path. You could say, this moment doesn't define my year, because it doesn't. It is just a moment in time that just happens to be, let's say, in the month of January. And you can also say to yourself, I'm allowed to move at my pace. That's how you start breaking decades, I have to say the word better. This is how you break decades old thinking patterns. You have to interrupt it one at a time. So why does this work and how does it work? Our brains are wired for efficiency. It repeats patterns it knows, even if the patterns don't feel good. But the magic lies is when you interrupt your spiral and you choose a new thought, your brain begins to build the new pattern. One that's calmer, kinder, more grounded, more confident, more real. Your year starts to feel different because you choose your thinking. You get to choose. You are not defined by your negative thoughts. You don't need to overhaul anything. Like, it's not everything or anything. It's just choose one thought differently at a time. So I'm really hoping that that tool that I'm sharing with you helps you. And if you want to learn a little bit more about it, please do reach out. You are always welcome to send me an email or DM me on Instagram. I go deeper into this when I do coach my clients, but I just wanted to at least start sharing the tool with you. Before we wrap up today, I want to remind you that if something negative is happening in your life right now, it does not define the rest of your year. It's just January. And it's okay. It's living the human life. We have hopes, we have fears, we have happy moments, not so sad moments. It's called living the human life. This year doesn't require a whole new revamped version of you, unless you want to do that. It just requires a steadier, kinder version of the thoughts that help you live more aligned to the happy life that you want for yourself. Before we go today, and to support you in interrupting these negative thoughts, I thought I would share with you an affirmation. And the affirmation goes as follows, and I will repeat it 3 times. You are welcome to repeat it with me or write it down, whatever supports you. Ready? Here we go. I can interrupt old patterns and choose what supports me. I can interrupt old patterns and choose what supports me. One more time. I can interrupt old patterns and choose what supports me. Write the affirmation somewhere where you'll see it. And if you're on my email list, you'll receive the written version of it in this week's email. All right, my dear friends, that's what I have for you today. I hope today's episode helps you stop the spiral and start choosing differently this year. If this episode helped you, it can help others too. Share it with a friend who could use the inspiration and guidance this year. It can help them as well have a calmer, kinder start to the year too. And if you want a deeper way to shift your thinking in 2026, make sure you're on my email list. I send out a weekly mindset reset with journal prompts, affirmations, and exercises aligned with the podcast episode of the week. So if you're loving the podcast, you can go even deeper with the emails. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And remember, you get to choose what supports your happiness today. Wishing you a wonderful week. Choosing happy. Cheers! Thanks for listening to Choose Happy with Marie. If today's episode spoke to you, I would love it if you could share it with a friend or leave a quick review for the show. It helps more women find this kind of support. Remember, you don't have to overhaul your life to start feeling better. You just have to choose happy right where you are, one choose happy choice at a time. I'll see you next time. Take care.